Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to Andrew's Life. I hope everyone's doing great today. So, I made a video several days ago reacting to a news story coming out of Western New York about the tire plant that let go of over 1,500 of their employees abruptly. Now, a lot of you were in the comments on that video blaming their job loss on Donald Trump's tariff tax policy. And you guys were also blaming Donald Trump's tariff tax policy on why companies like Pepsi decided to let go of all their work, close their plants down. And you guys are also predicting that with Trump's tariff tax policy, inflation is going to be worse than what it is right now. Now, although it's possible that if Trump's tariff tax policy turns into law, it could cause havoc on the economy. Although that is possible at this particular point, it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be logical to blame Donald Trump's tariff tax policy on what's going on right now. Simply because, for one, Donald Trump hasn't even been sworn in as president yet, so therefore none of his policies are in effect. Secondly, although Donald Trump has had discussion about wanting to impose a tariff tax on foreign goods, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, either A, he could change his mind on doing that and decide, you know what, that's not going to be good for the American economy, so let's not do it. B, enough businesses would resist against it. So for that reason, he may decide to not do it. So for those of you that suggest that companies are closing down their doors, and a lot of you predict that more companies are going to be closing their doors down and letting go of their workers from now until the day that Trump gets sworn in as president, I'm just not willing to believe that such a thing is going to happen. I think the reason why I think a lot of these companies are closing their doors and are letting their employees go the way they are because that they would have done that rather Trump run or Harris won. Even if Harris would have won presidency, these companies still would have done what they did. They would have let go of all their workers and closed their doors. Or maybe if Harris won, they still would have let go of all their American workers and they would have replaced them with a bunch of illegals and migrants. So for those of you that are extra salty because Harris lost the election and now you're trying to blame all these current job losses on Donald Trump, even though he hasn't even been sworn in as president yet. I think that's a bit ridiculous. I think at this point you're putting the carriage in front of the horse. Because the truth of the matter is, if Harris would have won, these companies would have got rid of American workers, and they would have used migrants to replace American workers anyway. Kind of like what happened at Tyson Chicken. Kind of like what happened at a lot of other companies throughout the United States. Secondly, Harris even stated that if she won, she would impose a tax increase on businesses. So guess what that's going to do to a lot of your businesses? Either A, they're going to take that tax burden and they're going to pass that financial burden on to me and you, the consumer. B, they could potentially get rid of all their employees and close down their plant and move overseas just to avoid that tax burden. And then when you look at the fact that Harris has already been in the White House for the last 4 years as VP, I would say for a lot of us, there really was not a lot of question on what Harris would have done, on what her policies would have been. Even though she may have not voiced specifically what her policies were and what she was going to do and how she was going to do it. All you gotta do is look at the last 4 years that she's been in the White House with Joe Biden. And based off of that, you can make a fairly healthy prediction of what she will most likely do the next 4 years having she won the election, which is why she lost the election. She lost the election because not only did she run a shit campaign, but on top of that, a lot of us with a little bit of common sense, we knew what Harris was going to do. We had a healthy idea what she was going to do because she's been doing it the last 4 years. I mean, she did not protect the borders like she was supposed to. And, her and Joe Biden, they allowed the economy to go completely to the ground. And let's not forget about what happened during the hurricane. I read earlier that the Harris campaign spent, I want to say, $10 million on celebrities to help her out with her campaign. But yet, when it came to hurricane relief, the hurricane victims in North Carolina only got $750 a person. So maybe that has something to do with why she lost the election as well. So for those of you that want to blame Donald Trump for why people are currently losing their job, for those of you that want to predict that the economy is going to get even worse under Donald Trump, well, guess what? We already know what is going to happen if Harris would have got into the White House, because we've seen it unfold the last 4 years, which is why she lost the election. So that's all I gotta say on this one. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay blessed.